You ever see a man walk into a courtroom, broken by life, only to have his name spark a wave of respect that brings everyone to their feet? That's what happened when a homeless black veteran faced trial for just trying to stay warm. And the judge realized he was the hero who'd saved her brother in a war zone decades ago. By the time the room saluted him, his honor was restored. But it left me wondering if we'd done enough to lift up those the system forgets. Or if one man's story is just a drop in a much bigger fight. My name's Clara Thompson, and this is the story of how a chilly morning in Oak Ridge, a small city outside Richmond, Virginia, turned into a moment that gave a hero his due, shook a community awake, and made me rethink what justice really means. I was there in the courtroom, just a clerk typing away, when Samuel Hayes shuffled in, 69 years old, wrists cuffed, his face carved deep with lines from years on the streets, his old army coat swallowing his frame. The bailiff called, Case 47B, City of Oak Ridge versus Samuel Hayes, disturbing the peace, trespassing, resisting arrest. Samuel stood, joints creaking, eyes low, like he'd learned to expect nothing from rooms like this. The prosecutor, a young guy named Brent, all polish and no heart, laid it out. Mr. Hayes has been warned multiple times about loitering behind the Main Street diner. 3 complaints this month alone. What he didn't say was Samuel wasn't begging, wasn't causing trouble. Just sitting by the alley vent to catch some warmth. Eating scraps a cook named Tommy slipped him. Brent pushed. He refused to leave when ordered 3rd citation this year. We recommend 30 days community service and a no trespass order for downtown. That order would have cut Samuel off from the only shelter on 5th Street, the church's free meals, leaving him to freeze in Oak Ridge's brutal winter. Judge Evelyn Brooks looked up, her face unreadable. Mr. Hayes, do you have counsel? Samuel shook his head. His public defender was stuck in another court. Care to speak for yourself? She asked, voice calm but probing. Samuel's voice, rough as gravel, came soft. No excuses, ma'am. Just needed to stay warm. Evelyn pressed. Why that spot? He hesitated. Tommy, the cook, he leaves food sometimes. His dad was in my unit, Gulf War. Her eyes sharpened. Your service. Samuel straightened. Just a fraction. U.S. Army, Sergeant First Class, 1974 to 1994, 1st Infantry Division, Iraq. The words hit like a quiet thunder, pride buried under years of pain. And I saw Evelyn's hand pause on his file, her face paling, like she'd just seen a ghost. This wasn't just a case, it was a reckoning, and none of us knew it yet. Samuel wasn't always a shadow on the streets. Back in the day, he wore his uniform crisp, medals gleaming, a soldier who'd run through hell to save his brothers. But Vietnam, then Iraq, left scars. Some you could see, some buried deep, PTSD and a brain injury the VA never fully treated. His wife left during his last tour, his benefits got tangled in red tape, and construction jobs dried up when his hands started shaking. Eviction followed, then the streets, a slow slide from hero to forgotten. Sleeping in alleys, eating what kindness Tommy's dad, a fellow vet, taught him to pass on. That diner vent was his lifeline. But the owner, chasing a clean storefront, called the cops, and Samuel's quiet plea for 5 more minutes got twisted into resisting. Brent didn't care, pressing for punishment to keep the downtown orderly. But Evelyn saw something else. As she read Samuel's file, her breath caught. Dates, units, a silver star from Fallujah, 2003, for saving a young lieutenant under fire. She glanced up, eyes locking on Samuel, and I knew she wasn't just judging a vagrant. She was facing a piece of her past. The doors swung open, and in strode Michael Carter, a lawyer in a sharp suit, briefcase gleaming. Your Honor, I'm representing Mr. Hayes pro bono, requesting a brief recess. Samuel blinked, confused. He hadn't called anyone, couldn't afford a guy like Carter. Evelyn, voice tight, this is irregular. No prior notice. Carter, smooth as silk. Last minute, Your Honor, but urgent. She studied them, then nodded, 15 minutes, and vanished into her chambers. Samuel whispered, I can't pay you. But Carter smiled. No need, my firm, Carter and Brooks, Takes this for free. I caught the name. Brooks like the judge. And felt the air shift, like something big was about to break. In her office, Evelyn pulled a photo from her drawer, her and her brother, Captain Daniel Brooks, grinning in his army greens before Iraq. Her hands shook as she read his last letter. Words I'd later learn. Sarge Hayes pulled me from a kill zone in Fallujah. Took fire. Wouldn't leave me. If I'm half the man he is, I'm doing all right. Daniel died weeks later, an IED, and at his funeral, a Marine named Hayes had told her parents, "Your son saved me. I'm the one he carried." She'd searched for him, but the Army said he'd redeployed, then vanished, discharged with PTSD, no trace, until now. "It's him, Michael," she told Carter, her late husband's law partner, voice cracking. "The man who saved Daniel." Carter nodded. His record's clear. Fallujah, Silver Star, same unit. She clutched the photo. How does a hero end up like this? Carter's voice softened. PTSD. No support. Life took him down. Evelyn's eyes hardened. I could recuse, but I won't let him slip away again. Back in court, she was steel, but her hands trembled. Mr. Carter, your client's decision? Carter stood. We request dismissal, all charges. Mr. Hayes had permission to be at the diner, and he was surviving a freeze. Brent tried to object, but Evelyn cut him off. I have questions for the defendant. She turned to Samuel. Your file says Fallujah, 2003, 1st Infantry? Samuel nodded. Yes, ma'am. Her voice tightened. April 9th. Did you save Captain Daniel Brooks under fire? The room stilled. Samuel's eyes clouded. Brooks, young captain, took shrapnel trying to save a medic. I pulled him to cover. He told me to leave him, save the others. A gray-haired vet in the gallery leaned forward, face taut. Evelyn pressed. What happened to him? Samuel's voice broke. Got him to a chopper, heard he made Germany. But later, an IED. I've wondered if I just delayed his end. Before Evelyn could speak, the vet stood, voice booming. That's him, Sergeant Hayes. Saved 7 of us that day. Murmurs spread, and I felt my throat tighten. This wasn't just a trial. It was a resurrection. Brent tried. Your Honor, his service isn't relevant. But Evelyn snapped. It's everything, slamming her gavel. 10-minute recess. She stepped out, called Colonel Nathan Reed, Daniel's old commander. I need you here now. 10 minutes later, she returned with 3 soldiers. A colonel, a master sergeant, a corporal holding a polished case. Samuel stood, instinct kicking in, shoulders square despite the cuffs. Evelyn ditched her glasses, voice raw. I must disclose a connection. Captain Daniel Brooks was my brother. Gasps rippled. Samuel's eyes widened. Recognition dawning. He wrote about you, she said, tears brimming. How you ran through fire, saved him, saved others. I tried to find you, but you were gone. The gray-haired vet stepped up. I saw it. Hayes took 2 bullets dragging Brooks out. Evelyn nodded. Colonel Reed, please. Reed stepped forward. Sergeant Hayes, the Army's been searching for you. Your file was reviewed under the Veterans Reconsideration Initiative. For your actions, April 9, 2003, the Secretary of the Army awards you the Distinguished Service Cross. The corporal opened the case, revealing the medal second only to the Medal of Honor. Samuel shook his head. Must be a mistake. I just did my job. Reed's voice was firm. No mistake. You saved a convoy. A voice barked, attention on deck. And the room rose. Vets, civilians, even Brent, saluting Samuel. Evelyn, wiping tears, declared, all charges dismissed. Permanently. The Master Sergeant added, your VA benefits are restored, 100% disability, back pay, housing, medical, all of it. Carter chimed in. My firm's on it, no red tape. Tommy, the cook, pushed forward, eyes wet. My dad said if you ever meet Samuel Hayes, you owe him everything. I didn't know it was you. Evelyn stepped off the bench, no robes, just human, standing before Samuel. Daniel said you told him, No soldier left behind. Not on my watch. Today, we keep that promise. 2 weeks later, Samuel stood in a new apartment, veteran housing, staring at his Distinguished Service Cross, Purple Hearts, and Daniel's letters, framed by Carter's team. Evelyn visited, no judge's garb, just a box of Daniel's notes. "This one's about you," she said, handing him a letter. Samuel read, voice shaking. "Hayes carried me out, refused to leave me. He's the best of us." Evelyn smiled. "Daniel volunteered for his last mission to live up to you." Samuel's eyes glistened. "Thought no one remembered." She touched his shoulder. "We do, always will." Oak Ridge changed, vets got homes, shelters expanded, the VA fast-tracked claims. Inspired by Samuel's story, Tommy started a meal program. The gray-haired vet led fundraisers. And I, still clerking, felt proud, knowing one name had shifted a city. But as Samuel pinned a photo of Daniel to his wall, Evelyn's words, "The measure of a soldier is what he does when no one's watching," stuck with me. Was honoring Samuel enough, or are thousands more still out there, forgotten? He's home, but is the system fixed? I'm watching, but should I do more, or trust this spark will grow? A kid left a flag at the diner, no note, just respect. That's the win, right? But is it enough? Or is another hero still shivering in the cold? What do you think? Was giving Samuel his due justice, or too late? Should we keep fighting for the forgotten, or celebrate this victory? Ever seen a hero overlooked like him? Drop a comment. Tell me where you're watching, share your stories. Like, subscribe, and let's keep the forgotten seen so you don't have to.